bit of gear train noise. I might have to pull it. I'm gonna go a little ways and then check it. I have to come back in and try to reset my adjustable idler, my backlash. So our water temp 150. Did like the book said, but maybe I didn't quite get it right. It just seems like it's a little noisy. Jake brakes out on this thing. And Jake, see, they were good. Yeah, they're fine to stop you now. Let's drive it down here a ways and let's check that. Let's roll this window down. Oh, I'm in the wrong hole there. Pay attention to noises and stuff, not paying attention to my shifting. Take long to get to 65. Temperature wise, water temp, oil pressure, I don't know what these things normally run for oil pressure. This one's running at 35 pounds at 1500 RPM. Like 373s or something in it. 1200 RPM, 65 miles an hour. Looks like we're about 190 on water temp. Got some power though. Get out and look at things and listen to things. Just make sure everything is going according to plan, hopefully. Seems like it's kind of Sounds kind of about normal now. Why is that smoking so much? Coming out of them stacks. I don't know if I like that. Pressure and everything, my water temp. Through the mirror and see the stack. See how much smoke I've got. Of course it is. What is this? This is an 18 speed? What is this? Something, or progressive shifting programmed into it or something. Cuts you out. His engine oil temp sending units broke off on the pan, and he needs to fix that. Sure would be nice to be monitoring that. I probably should have got my laptop and put in here. Put them reman injectors in there, and I hope them fucking injectors are not causing it to smoke like that. Then I'll be pulling them back out, telling them to shove them up their ass. Never had much luck with reman injectors, I'll tell you that much right now. I don't know, it's pretty cold. See over there, I don't know what the hell they got going over there, but I don't know what, doesn't say what the temperature is in here. thing that was always better about a Cummins was the Jake brakes always were better. Pretty tight shifting, man. Take me a while to get used to it. Some kind of progressive shifting in that one hole because it hits about 1500 and that's it. Then you go to the next hole and it I gotta check that adjustable idler. I think I'm probably gonna have to check it again, make sure my backlash is right. Getting hot. It's smoking pretty good. I don't like that. I know it's been turned up. It's a 540 instead of a... I don't know about that, man. Shut her down. Let's look at the condition of our oil and stuff. Make sure we don't have a bunch of silver in it or anything like that. Check for leaks. It's all looking good there. I don't know if maybe we need to run it, and I just have a sneaking suspicion that every time I do this reman injector thing, seems like they ain't worth the shit, you know. you're better off just spending the money and putting new ones in there. Metal in the oil. So far that's looking good. Okay guys, here we are on this Cummins again. This is like the project is every once in a while you get one of these that just keeps kicking you in the teeth and kicking you in the teeth, so you finally whip its ass. And this has been one of them. Test drove it. As you can see on the test drive, I was worried about the smoke. I know I have to readjust my timing gears here. It's not right. It's too noisy. Anyway, but that's not what's causing the smoking issue. And so I get more information. Sometimes I wish they would tell you everything. Come to find out, the check engine light, since he's owned the truck, has never worked. That would have been really cool to know. Anyway, got back from the test drive. It was running like shit. White smoke coming out the stack at an idle. Didn't have much power. Well, it was derated. That's why I didn't have any power. And come to find out, I put in there and there's a whole laundry list of codes. I clear them all just to start fresh, to see what came back immediately. And what kept coming back was primary. I'll show you. We've got the Texas unit on it right now. Let's get back in here. I got the key on. This is let's see here, primary engine speed circuit, which would be the crank sensor. And why are you not booting up? Okay, you're going to be stupid on me, I see. So we will... Oh, why is that not on? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, anyway, I got that to come back on. I don't know why that did that, but that was odd. Let's turn the key back on. Try this again now that the green light is on the pass-through unit. Okay. We are waiting. Okay, there's the fault code. I just want to show you what it's doing. All right, it's yellow or amber, which means it's not active right now. But as soon as I start the truck, it's a long crank to start. See it turn red, smoking like a banshee. Okay, so there is our primary engine speed circuit fault, which that's a code 689. So the first thing I did when I got the code out, the cam sensor and the crank sensor are identical on these. I swapped them. So what it's doing, it's only running off the cam sensor right now. It's not reading the crank sensor at all. So I swapped them the first thing I did. So, well, actually before that, I unplugged the cam sensor to verify that it wasn't reading the crank sensor and it wouldn't start. Then I knew for certain that it was not reading the crank at all. So then I took the crank sensor, put it in the cam sensor, did the same thing again. It started with it in there, so I knew that crank sensor was working because it was reading off the cam. Then I unplugged it and it wouldn't start. Then I plugged it back in and it started. So that verified to me that the sensor was fine. So anyways, I have 5 volts reference going to the sensor with it plugged in. So that tells me right there that my ECM is putting 5 volt reference. So let's unplug it. I can't really show you with it plugged in. The 5 volt reference is the way you want to check them. because it's so hard to get to down in there where it's plugged in, but I'll show you with it unplugged, which is really not the way you want to do it. But what's striking me as a little odd is I unplug this thing and it's not throwing any codes. I don't know, I'm kind of wondering about my ECM. Okay, I have 5 volts there. I have a ground. I could take an ohm meter too and go from here to ground. This is going to be my signal line right here. So I'm going to jump this wire to this wire, or I can take a test light or a jumper wire and go from there straight to my signal wire, and that should throw a high voltage code at the ECM. Well, we got it unplugged right now. It should throw a low voltage code, I would think, but it may not be, and it's a magnetic pickup. Let's go back in and check her. Okay, intake manifold pressure sensor circuit data erratic, intermittent, or incorrect. That wasn't in there a minute ago. Intake manifold pressure sensor circuit. Where would that be? That would be. God, I'm wondering if we got an ECM problem. I'm kind of wondering how it's kind of throwing all these goofy codes. Anyway, let me get either that. I got another idea. I'll be back. Alright guys, so right here, I'm going to unplug it and we'll do exactly like the book says. Measure the voltage from the engine speed 5 volt supply pin to the engine speed return, which is going to be the ground. Let's go back up here. It just asked me if the code is active, and of course yes it is. But go up here to the wiring schematic. Pin A is 5 volt sensor supply. Pin C is the signal. Pin B is the return. So we're going to go pin A to pin B with the meter. Let me see if I can get my wire drug out of here. So we'll go positive lead on pin A. Am I right there? Wait a second, I'm backwards. It's going to be this one and this one. It was on the signal line. We have 4.9954 volts. We have good reference voltage. Okay, let's go back down. Yeah, 689 is active. 284, that code's not in there. Okay, yeah, I expected for screwed up pins. I already did all that. Okay, so if it's 4.7, yes, go to 2C. Okay, check the circuit response. Turn ignition key off. We're going to lose communication here now. Alright, wake the stupid computer up. Disconnect the engine speed sensor from the engine harness. Turn key switch on. Connect inside electron service tool. It should equal low voltage. Engine speed sensor states equals low. So basically we turn it back on with it unplugged, seeing it's not doing that. It's not throwing a low voltage code. So let's turn the key back on and refresh the codes. I think we lost the ECM. I really do. I got the battery charger on it so it doesn't get too screwy and the battery goes too low. See, there's no... It's still the same code, the 689. There's no low voltage code in there. So engine speed sensor state equals low. No. Go to 2D. Turn ignition key switch. Disconnect engine speed sensor from harness. Turn key switch on. Connect inside electronic service tool. Place a jumper wire between the engine speed 5-volt reference pin and the engine speed signal. So you're going to go between pin A and pin C. Check for the appropriate response. Read the engine speed sensor state using Insight. Well, we're using Texa. So what we're going to do is turn the key off. Actually, let's clear this. It stays amber, it won't really. Try it again. Yeah, it's active. It must be active. Okay, well, let's turn the key off. Let's put our jumper wire between pin A and pin C. And we should be able to come back and reestablish communications with it and check and see. Just don't go between pin A and pin B. I don't like this setup. That one strand of wire gets in there. That wire's too big. How about the meter? I don't want to spread the terminals out. Let me go see if I got some back pin probes I can stick in there and then hook some alligator clips to it. Okay guys, I trimmed my wire down to where I didn't take a chance. My back pin probes wouldn't fit in there either. Little bitty terminals. But anyways, I'm going to turn the key on now. I'm going from pin A to pin C and see if we have a high voltage on code that pops up. Let's go back and reestablish communication with it. He needs to get a bulb changed in his check engine light. I don't know why it keeps on that low voltage code. I had a Freightliner the other day that kept doing it, and it wasn't low voltage. You see how that code went away? It's not even there now? Wow, we've got an oil pressure sensor circuit, but so that's a little odd. Why? I'm trying to figure this out. You would think it would throw a high voltage code. And I don't think there's anything. See, battery voltage 13.4 volts, so it's not low voltage. I don't know why. I think it's something with the Texa unit maybe that might be a little off. Let's go down to like a engine idle validation, load base speed control, powertrain protection torque limit. Trying to see if maybe I could read a PID on the signal line off the crank sensor to see what voltage it was actually reading. Because like my Autel scanner, like on that ICP sensor I was telling you guys about, I could read it, you know, what it does when I put the jumper wire, and then I knew my wire was good, but I don't think I can read it on this one. Intake manifold air temperature sensor signal voltage. See, that's what I want to read on. That's kind of what I'm looking for there, but I'm looking for it on the crank sensor. See that? Intake manifold pressure sensor 1. See, now it's going 1 volt, 4 volts. It's kind of weird. J1939 broadcast on, but there's not. This is a 1708. OEM memory, there's our 5 volt. So maybe we didn't, maybe we got a bad wire, because everything on the 5 volt side's working. Turbocharger inlet, temperature sensor, vehicle acceleration, nothing. Wait a second, is there a vehicle speed sensor, or turbocharger D-rate? No engine. Let's go back up to E. Engine Oil temperature. Nothing with engine speed sensor. See, and that code's gone now with it jumpered. A little bit strange, huh? So, place a 5-volt jumper wire between the engine speed 5-volt supply pin and the engine speed signal pin at the sensor connector of the engine harness. Check for the appropriate ECM response. Read the Insight speed sensor state using the Insight monitor code. Engine speed sensor states equals high. Engine speed sensor states equals high. I'm not really, usually it'll throw a voltage code, it'll throw a code for high voltage, but it's not. It's not really telling me that there. It's saying it's normal now. It's kind of a head scratcher. What the hell's going on? Let's just go to 2C2 and we'll just go through the steps, I guess. Okay, turn key off, disconnect the engine speed harness from the engine, inspect the engine speed sensors for following, damaged pin. I don't see anything wrong there. I've already looked at that. So if we go damage sensor tip, next step, if you say no, go to 2C3. Remove the engine speed sensor from the harness. Yeah. Use a ratchet, drive socket tool that was removed from the sensor. Engine speed sensor state transitions from high. I've already done that basically when I swap sensors. When I swapped the cam sensor with the crank sensor, I verified the sensor. So the only thing that we don't know about, which the tone wheel might be screwed up on the crankshaft. I don't know that. I didn't touch anything on that, but you never know. So we might have to do this step, but I think I'm going to verify the wiring first before I do that and do all that shit. I don't know, maybe I'm all screwed up. So what you do is use the ratchet drive socket tool that was used to remove sensor from harness. Place it flush on this sensor so that the edge of the socket, let's look at this picture here. Oh, I see. Place it flush on the sensor so that the edge of the socket is on the edge of the sensor. Slowly slide the socket in a perpendicular direction to the mark lined on the sensor. In a perpendicular direction to the mounting bracket of the sensor. Inspect the following. Check for the appropriate ECM response. Engine speed sensor transitions from high to low or low to high. Triggered. Well, we know it's not going to do that because it's not reading it when you start it. Well, I guess that would verify whether the tone wheel was bad. If it picked it up off another magnetic source, it should transition from high to low in there, which I don't think it's going to do, but, well, if the tone wheel is screwed up, it's not going to do it. And I'm kind of wondering if that tone wheel is screwed up because the code stays amber with the key on and the engine off. It only turns red, which means it's active when you start the truck, when the crank starts turning. I'm wondering if I got something happened to the tone wheel on the crankshaft. Is there anything we can do before we do all that? That's a pain in the ass pulling that sensor out of there. Verify adequate engine speed sensor air gap. Well, I can't imagine that being off from... Inspect the ECM and engine harness connector pins. I had that off last night. I didn't see that. I pulled it up, the ECM connector off just to make sure there wasn't a pushback pin. I've seen that 100 times. There wasn't any. Okay, turn ignition key off. Disconnect the engine harness from the ECM. Turn key switch on. Check the appropriate response. Engine speed sensor state equals low. Engine speed sensor state equals low. Okay. So basically now that what they want us to do is this connector, if you go back up to the wiring harness, you're supposed to unplug this one now. And if, well, take our jumper wire out, and I bet you that code comes right back. It comes to amber. Well, there's nothing there right now. Let's exit out, see if that code comes back. I'll refresh it. I don't want to pull the pan on it again, man. I really don't. It's not there. Look at that. What in the world is going on with this thing, guys? Let's plug it in and see if it comes back. This is kind of a goofy one. Usually this is pretty simple to do this, but it's kind of throwing me for a loop right now. Bend the pin over on this thing, plugging it back in because it's so nice to get to down there buried into this. So it's plugged in. Let's start it. Let's shut the key off. Attention, we lost communication. Okay. Let's reestablish. Let's get the laptop off the tire so when we do start it doesn't vibrate it and shake the laptop off and break it. That just happened to me before. I tell you what, guys, I always get this goofy stuff that happens to me. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but sometimes I feel like somebody's holding their thumb on my head trying to hold me underwater. You know, it's like, you son of a gun, just work. It's not there anymore. Is this really odd or what? Let's start it and see what happens. Came right back. There it is. Golly, do we have like a tone? I'm thinking maybe tone wheel on the crankshaft. Kind of what I'm thinking there. See, now it's turned to amber again. It's kind of weird how it won't clear it. It won't turn it green like most codes do on this thing when it's kind of weird. I'm just going to keep going on with the wiring right now just to verify the wiring from the ECM. Let me see, I had an Allen wrench laying here somewhere. Right there. I'm going to turn the key off. And I'm going to verify that everything, they should throw all kinds of codes if I unhook this harness right here. Alright guys, I got it unplugged. Let's turn the key on, refresh the codes. We should have all kinds of stuff that pops up here. Sometimes this thing gets a little screwed up when you go from on off, and you gotta just kind of start over. Let's go back and just kind of start over. We should have all kinds of low voltage codes if everything's on the ECM's working right. Forever to, maybe it's not going to communicate at all with that unplugged. I'm doing what the book said, so yeah, it's not going to read anything with that unplugged. So I don't know how they expect you to do that test with all that shit unplugged. Well, let's see here. I'm just going to verify my wiring real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a back pin probe, or I could use that chunk of wire. That's what I could do. Oh, that back pin probe is too thick. Let's go back up here. Let's just verify the wiring real quick. She jumped way ahead on me there. So pin A is going to be going this connector, the front one. Pin A is going to be on pin 16. This thing where I can read it would be really cool. Maybe like right here, maybe. And I gotta figure out what pin 16 is on this. And now that's in the way of that. Okay, let's see here. Put this on this side, that way I can get back in here. So pin 1 is going to be at the very top corner, and it's going to go, there's 5 pins, so 10, 20, okay. So it's going to be 10. Let me get my chunk of wires that I had. I don't know what I did with that. There it is, right there. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, pin 16. Right there. I don't know, that ain't working for shit. Boy, I gotta buy some more of them back pin probes and stuff. When I buy that Pico kit, it'll have all that kind of stuff in it, but I'm not there yet. So basically 15, 16 is gonna be that one, right? Should be making fairly good connection there, I hope anyway. So where's our harness at? Oh, that's right, I plugged it back in. Alright, let's get back up here. Pin A is going to be the one on the left hand side here. Meter. Get her out here. Damn it. Try to get this thing kind of set somewhere where a guy can read it. Let's check our meter. Okay. Meter is working. Let's put it on the audible function. It's better. Okay, so pin A. Turn this around. We have a good wire there. pin B is 48. So let's go to pin 48, which is going to be, this is a 50 pin connector. No way, it's a 60. What? How many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is, it's a 6-row connector. So this would be 50, 49, 50, 49, 48. Okay. Let's go to from pin B, which is the middle pin. We have a good wire there. Pin C to pin 27. So 27. So basically this is 20. This is going to be 25. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. From pin C to pin 27. We have nothing. We have a open wire. Okay. Let's double check that. Make sure that's in there good. We have 10, 20, 27, correct? That one there. So one, I was thinking, what am I thinking? 10, 20, I'm on the third row, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Make sure we're on the right pin here. On pin C, which would be this one, right here. And we have absolutely nothing. Make sure it shouldn't, let's check it, make sure it's not shorted to another wire. I think we just got an open wire. We have no signal wire at all. Okay, we have no signal wire. That's what our problem is. The signal wire is busted somewhere, or do we have a pin pushed back? What is going on here? So 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30, 30, 39, 38. Wait, what am I thinking here? Was I on the wrong? What am I thinking here? What am I thinking? 39, dumbass. 30, 29, 28, 27. It's that one right there. That's the one I was in. And the pin is not pushed back. The wire is broke in the loom somewhere. Okay, if it can happen to anybody, guys, it will happen to me. The wire was, I don't know, it's an old 900,000 miles. Somehow, when I disconnected stuff, somehow I had flexed a wire somewhere in the loom and it broke the wire. Isn't that wonderful? So now do we just run another wire? What do we do here? So let me figure out what I'm going to do. I do know where my problem is now. I just have to rectify it some way. Oh guys, this thing is broken. So I ran a new wire from right here. Well, I should have went clear back to here. It was also broke right at the plug too. It was broken like 3 different, well, who knows how many places. Ah, shoot. So maybe it was just broken that place to begin with. No, it wasn't, because I had an ohm meter at the pin and I had continuity like down to here, and then I checked it right here, you know, and I didn't have anything. And then I went back to here and I had continuity. Then I went to here and I had I didn't have continuity. So first time I cut it right there, put a splice in it, and I got up there and I had continuity, and then I went to check it again. Somebody's lost continuity. So what was going on is it was broke at the plug too. So I took the pin connector out of the plug. I had an old Power Stroke pigtail that I robbed a new connector and pin out of, but I collapsed the little keeper, so I need to, there's the little keeper right there. See if I can get it back out to where it will stay, where it'll latch. Hard to see that. There, I got the little keeper out. Okay, so that way when you shove that back in there, it'll stay latched. Now I just got to get it, flashlight on it, make sure I'm going in the right way. Oh wait, there's still a chunk of stuff down in there. Alright, got it out. Okay. It's staying latched. Okay, let me splice this one. I'm going to cut it back. I got to put the rubber grommet back in there. Slide the plug over it. What a pain in the ass. That's what happens when you get shit with 900,000 miles on it. It's one problem after another. Probably when we were messing with the harness, I don't know. I didn't even unplug that. You know, come to think of it, yeah, it's on the crank sensor down there. I never even unplugged it. You know, folks, I think he had this problem to begin with. I mean, because there's no reason to unplug the crank sensor when you're doing an end frame. Yeah, so, yeah, I never unplugged that. Anyways, you know it's going to be your fault anyway, but... Doesn't matter what you do, you worked on it, it is your fault. But we're going to make it right, so we're fixing to test this thing and see what it does. We will cut it back here, past this butt connector, and he needs to get a new engine wiring harness is what he needs to do to make this thing 100% right. But now we will get it going for him, that way he can make a living. And I'm going to readjust my backlash, so I'll have to get my timing wedges back out, pull the valve cover off, pin the crank, put the wedges in the cam, and pull this cover off on the front, break the cam gear loose. I'll just have to break them loose. I don't have to pull them clear off. Break them loose with the tool, break this one loose, and then you know, it's a lot easier with the damn thing off of there, but it is what it is. Got to make sure it's right. I'm just glad I found this problem, that I don't have some other serious issue. And I've seen a couple of these ISXs, the front timing gear train was pretty noisy on them before. It's not the first one I've run into. But I just don't want it to, I want it to be right. You know, he said it wasn't that noisy before, so we got to make sure we can do whatever we can to make sure that he's happy. I know he needs it, but I got to make sure it's right. There's a lot of money in there, and there's a lot of liability on my part if something scatters the front end on it. So I just got to do whatever it takes to make sure it's right before we send it out. See if we can get her quietened down. You guys saw what I did on the service manual. It was exactly like the book told me to do, so unless I let something slip a little on me or something like that, I don't know for sure. A little bit overkill for a torch, but for this, that's why I just kind of touch it and go. Give me one of those micro torches or heat gun. Something else I need to spend money on. Okay, let's get our ohm meter and check this miserable prick again. Lead pin 27. I've got that pin memorized. That would be that one right there. Okay, and that would be this brand new shiny pin. Oh, I don't have it on the beep. Look at that, you move it around and it doesn't kick out on you. Okay, here we go, guys. We're finally going to give this thing a good test run. Let me tape this up. I need to get some split loom and put on it. I don't even know where my tape went. Oh, let me find my electrical tape. Here it is, right here. It rolled off the tire onto the ground. Yeah, one wire on these electronic engines can cause you absolute pain and misery, like you wouldn't believe. And you can't run a brand new engine like that with the timing, you know, because it's basically throwing the injection timing off because it doesn't know where the crankshaft is. And boy, you don't want to run a brand new engine like that. You got to fix it. So I'll get some, I'll have to unplug it and get some split loom on it, but I want to fire it up. I want to see what my scanner says and all that stuff. See if I can clear the code. We should be able to. Okay. Sometimes these guys need to tell you more information when they bring them in. Oh yeah, that check engine light hasn't worked since I bought it, you know, because if you turn the key on, it does a lamp check, and you should be able to tell whether your lights on your panel are working or not. I mean, everybody should know how to do that and check that on their own vehicles. Do a lamp check and check, make sure your shit's working, because that would have been the first thing that I would have done. I mean, it needed in-frame. I mean, it was worn out. I'm not saying that we wasted money and time there, because the valve stems, the liners, everything was shot. He had carbon and oil from the injectors, but he just had a lot of problems you know, that needed to be addressed. It would have been nice if we would have put that on there and seen that before all this happened, and I would have had to maybe some indication that that was an issue, you know. But you never seem to get to complete the story when you're doing these things. Well, let me tighten this up. Alright guys, we're in the process. We got the wire fixed. Process of reestablishing communications. And see what we got. Look at that. There's no code there now. Okay, we'll see when we start it if the code comes back. Here we go. Up, it's stone cold, so there's no crank sensor code coming back though. He's got something going on there with that. Built up and get the fan to shut off. Sounds way better than it did yesterday. Suspension's airing up on it. Oh yeah, it's clearing up now. Yesterday it just smoked like a banshee. Still got a little bit coming out. Pump the idle up on it, open the doors. Uh-oh, lost communication. What happened? Must have something going on with my cable here. The cable in the cab, maybe. There we go. I'll reestablish. I got something going on with my cable. I guess I better order a new one. That unit's about 6 years old and it's been through hell. Dragging it out the fields and tractors and throwing them in trucks and okay, yeah, the crank sensor code is not coming back. We got that problem fixed. I want to see how it starts. After the initial cold start. It was taking a long time for it to start yesterday. Okay. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's the way it's supposed to start right there. Well, that's a little warm up. I think we got a bunch of unburnt fuel in the cylinders and stuff because it loaded all up. Because there's a, you know, of course the injection time is going to be off with the damn crank sensor not reading right. Well, guys, we're driving it again. I readjusted the front timing gear train again. They don't really sound much different. Looked at the gears, all the gears look good. The oil pump's shimmed right. I don't know what, you know, I didn't really pay that close of attention. I know that 9900i that I rebuilt the engine on seemed like the gear train was a little excessive on that, a little noisy. Oh, this washboard road. Get out here on the pavement and we'll take her. Oh, rough son of a bitch. Okay. Missed a hole there. Road is so damn rough. Should have just went down the pavement. I'll tell you what, it runs 100 times better than the first test drive with that crank sensor fixed. Got all kinds of power. Before it was just dog-eared in hell because it was derated. Yeah, that 689 code says that it will derate. He needs to fix his check engine light though, so he knows if he's got a problem or not. Shit, you don't know if you got a problem. Hanging in there about 180, 190, somewhere in there. Oh, come on there. Clutch brake needs to be this clutch brake needs to be adjusted. It's not really hitting the spot where it needs to hit. Oh yeah, she's got plenty of snort. Now we're in overdrive. Just kind of tool along out here and see how she does. Got plenty of power though. Holy shit, it's got some snort to it. See, somebody scratched on the data plate. It was a 450, and now they've got scratched on their 540. You never know how a truck runs till you get a load behind it though. You can sit here and bobtail them all day long thinking it runs good, and then you put 80,000 pounds behind it and the thing runs like shit. So Well, it's got pretty tall gears in it. Let's see, 65 miles an hour. 65 at right at 1200 RPM. Probably got 373s or something in it. Oh, and these guys here always, their cows are always on the road. And it just fucking blows my mind that they feed them right out here. Or right over here, right by the road. And then they get pissed off because their cows are run over. You know, keep some bitches off the road. Feed them somewhere else. It's all open range, so if you run over it, you buy the cow and you fix your car. Sure don't seem like I'm going 55 miles an hour right now. I think his speedo's not working right. Where's that mile per hour app? I don't think that's right. No, that's the alarm clock. Where is that son of a bitch at? I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it so I don't run off the road. There it is right there. Speedometer.
GPS is connected.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the app? Sure I am. Alright, I don't want that ad on there. Screw yourself. 46 miles per hour. I guess maybe it's fairly close. Now this old bitch here, she's gonna walk right out in front of me. Double nickel there and see what it says. If I can get her on the double nickel. Slow down to 55. I don't know, it acts like it's about 3 miles per hour off. I guess, you know, that's saying if that's totally accurate. Who knows? Jakes don't seem to work. I mean, they work pretty good on this truck, but the CM871 with that different style of VGT turbo seem like they work a lot better. I don't think a lot of these guys realize that their VGT turbo is part of their Jakes. So these guys there's a guy up in Klamath Falls doing deletes on all the ISXs up there, getting rid of, well, he's deleting the VGT turbo too, and then the guys get done and their Jakes don't work for shit. Because that VGT is part of the Jake. It kind of acts like an exhaust brake. we might be still taking these 3-man injectors out of here, because it still smokes a bit at idle. I don't like that. But we need to take it to this drive, put the laptop on it again, make sure there's no codes like an intake manifold pressure sensor or some kind of code like that that might cause that condition. You know, it's hard to say when the guy's been, oh, don't pull out in front of me, you dumb bastard. Yesterday when I drove it, it was so screwed up that you could watch the stack and it just kept shooting black smoke out, then it'd clear up, black smoke, then it'd clear up. Well, it ain't doing that no more. Road's so damn rough. Well, it's been really cold. You know, cold here is 0 to 10 degrees, and if it stays that way for a long time, the road starts heaving up on you, and it just becomes rougher than hell. I'll get back and I'm going to check the condition of my oil, put the laptop on it, make sure that there's oil's not disappearing or it's not growing. Hence, that would indicate a problem with injectors overfueling and flooding the crankcase with old fuel. Get his engine oil temp gauge figured out too and get that fixed. Kind of it'd be nice to know that after a rebuilt engine, look at your oil temperature. As you notice, I'm on the back roads. I kind of wander around and try to keep on my side of the road when I'm going around corners. Turnaround spot's going to be up here. Just kind of set the brake and make sure there ain't oil or fuel or water or something pouring out on the ground. Back this way is Medicine Lake. pretty popular place for people all over the, well, they come from all over the country to camp here in the summertime. Kind of look her over and make sure there ain't shit pouring out on the ground. You know, that don't sound bad there, that gear train. Sounds like an ISX actually. No leaks. Well, nothing quite real obvious. Alright, let's back up and see if we can get run over. Yeah, his clutch brake's right at the very bottom. Needs to be about an inch off the floor. We'll see if he wants to run with these reman injectors or change them out. Well, I could be a little smoother there with my shifting, but throttle is really touchy. Just not used to that. These are kind of a low RPM shifting motor too. You get out of an old B model cat or something like that and get into this and you're totally screwed up. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. It's been a go-around, let me tell you. When you get stuff like this, you just got to grit your teeth and just keep after it. That's all I can say. She's got plenty of snort, I'll tell you. But alright guys, I appreciate you watching. Please give me a thumbs up. And I'll keep making these videos. Thank you.